what's up, guys? It's Javaya.
This is your girl Tiana Taylor.
Eric Ballinger.
Tamia.
Kenny from the Notch.
Sniper Nell.
Y'all checking out MusicXclusives.
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 MusicXclusives TV.
You mean? Tune in. For real.
Yeah.
Huh?
Hey, what's up, world? Welcome back to MusicXclusives TV. I'm your girl, Kadir Tusilla, and we are here today with the talented Mr. Kevin Ross.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Now, before we start this interview, I just want to start off by saying I want to let the world know, most of you probably already do know, that you are a writer. You've written for Trey Songz, Nicki Minaj,
Yes.
Johnny Gill,
Yes.
SWV,
Yep.
Toni Braxton.
Yep.
That's major.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Tell me, okay, besides your talent, how did you land the opportunity to make music for these big names?
Honestly,
how did that happen?
Favor. Being in the right place at the right time too helps. As soon as I graduated from college, I went down to Atlanta and wanted to get my feet wet, and I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to, really kind of dive and fully submerge myself into the community and see what I had, if I had what it takes in order to become a successful writer. And it took a couple years, but I was lucky enough. My first placement was with Jamie Foxx, and so that was really awesome. And then I think SWV and Johnny Gill came next, and then a couple years after was when the Trey Songz record started happening. So the Trey Songz record with Nicki, and then the one with Ty Dolla $ign, and it just kind of like went on and start working with other artists. So it was really cool. Yeah.
That's amazing. I guess your name just spoke for itself, right? Every song that came out and it was good, everybody else was like, okay, I want next. Who's this Kevin Ross kind of thing?
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
Now, you're also a producer as well.
Yes,
How did that come about?
Honestly,
you always wanted to write and produce, or did the producing come along with?
Yeah, I think the producing came along with it because I
Okay.
felt like I didn't have a choice. It was like I had a small Yamaha keyboard when I was about like 16, and I had a 16-track mixer that I bought from one of my friends. And so I combined those two together and just started making records. I knew I could kind of play piano a little bit, and that kind of grew when I got into college. But that's when it started, because it was like I didn't know any producers. I didn't know how a record was supposed to be produced. I was just basing it off of my natural instinct. And as I got older and started hanging around producers, I really started to glean from them. And I never really called myself a producer until, one of my producer friends was like, hey, man, like, you have records on radio that, like, a lot of producers that say that they're producers can't say.
Right.
And so he was like, yo, you're living what, producers want to do, which was cool. I mean, the record that I came with, Long Song Away, that went #1 in Urban AC Radio. Yeah.
Hey, nice.
I produced and wrote it. And so it took me a while to really kind of take that and, really internalize that.
So you were self-taught, like you were self-taught before.
Self-taught producer,
I
yeah.
think that's what helped as well.
Yeah.
So, okay, now you have this album coming out.
Yes.
Audacity.
Yeah.
How did you come up with this name? What's the meaning? Is there a meaning behind it?
I mean, to be audacious is to step outside of your comfort zone, to stretch out and really go to places inside of yourself that you may not necessarily think that you would want to go at the current time. And I think for me, Audacity kind of spoke to my life at that current moment. Like, we came off of the first album with Motown Records, and I asked to be released because of just certain situations internally.
Okay.
And it just didn't make sense for me anymore. And so, a lot of people within the label were kind of wondering why does he want to leave when he's got nominated for an iHeart Music Awards for Best New Artist in R&B, Soul Train Awards, and all this other kind of stuff. But honestly, it was just timing, and I was audacious enough to take a chance on myself, to bet on myself, to have ownership over the things that I worked so hard on. I had a record that went #1 and I don't own it. You know what I mean?
Right,
and so even though I get royalties, when there were certain opportunities, like I work sometimes with Michael B. Jordan on certain things. So we did like the Piaget campaign, his watch campaign together musically, and then we did NBA 2K a couple of years ago, as far as soundtrack-wise. He was in charge of that. And so the interesting thing about that is that when you're a major artist, you have no control over how you can distribute the record. So when it was time for sync syncing these records, I had no control over how much, you know, they were charging for it. I received nothing from it. So for me, freedom is the most important thing. If you're putting all of the work in and you're investing inside of yourself and you're getting you know, you're not getting the lion's share and you're getting such a small portion, it just doesn't make sense. So for me, I decided to take, you know, another route. Our Society Music Group is the name of my company, and I've partnered with Empire Distribution. And, you know, yeah, we're going to put out Audacity.
Amazing. I'm glad that you actually brought that up and we're talking about it, because not a lot of people know the cons of being under a label and being under a contract, you know? Once you get signed, everyone's like, oh, my God, yes, I'm signed, yes. And it's like all peaches and cream, but there's so much more to it.
Absolutely.
And so, I mean, I guess, you know, being your own person and being able to say, hey, I want to do my thing and I want to have freedom into my work, which you deserve, is great. And now tell me about Audacity. And is it just you with your music, or do you have other features on each single?
It's just me this time around.
Okay, good.
I did work with... I have a co-executive producer who's pretty much helped me produce the majority of the album. His name is Jaron Spruill, and extremely talented. And honestly, I wanted to do this record without features because I know what the power of features can do, but I know what the power of good music can do as well. Right. And so I wanted to challenge myself to kind of go deeper inside of the process of like who I am and what I represent, where I stand right now, without, you know, trying to reach for the collaboration. So sometimes it can get tricky. Sometimes it can be very expensive as
you
well.
Be yourself.
And so I think that you know, Audacity will be kind of a redefining moment for me as an artist, and it will help to, you know, kind of shape what the future of the genre can be. So,
and for fans to actually know who you are as well as a person, right?
Exactly.
I totally agree with that. Now, do you have any shows coming up?
I do. I have a show in DC on the 7th at City Winery. Okay. So I'm excited about that.
Okay, that's exciting.
Yes. Make sure y'all get y'all tickets, KevinRossMusic.net.
That's
sure.
Right. You heard it here.
So yeah, I got that show coming up, and then I really wanted to take the time out to really get ready for 2020 as it pertains to the Audacity Tour that I'm getting ready to gear up for. So a couple spot dates here and there. Nothing in New York as of yet, but
I hope it's coming soon.
yeah, but you know, we're gearing up and just making sure that the show is right just as much as the album. So
what advice would you give the audience or your fans right now, what they can expect from this album?
I've always considered myself a bridge artist, right? I mean, of course, the genre is R&B soul, but I'm a bridge. I'm literally an artist that respects his predecessors, that lives in the present, but is trying to pave the way for a future for other R&B artists as well. And so I believe that Audacity really encapsulates all that into one project. You know, Thing Called Love is definitely the predecessor side, is kind of, you know, tipping the hat off to, you know, all of the people from the 70s and the 80s that really paved the way for us. And, you know, I think that moving forward, they're going to see a lot of things that could really work present day, and then a lot of things that are very like forward and ahead as well. So it's going to be fun. It's an adventure, and they'll be entertained for sure.
I'm glad you said that. There's not a lot of 70s, you know, old school, that R&B feel that we used to, you know, get in the past. Like right now, there's a lot of different genres. R&B is, I feel like it's elevating, but we need more. We need more of that type of music, especially now in our generation, in our society. So I'm glad that you said that. Any artists you would like to collaborate with after this moving forward?
I'm always open to collaborations from anybody. Okay. But particularly,
who would it be?
Ari Lennox. I like Summer Walker. I like Lucky Day. I like who else is out there? Kiana Lede. I'm forgetting some people. Oh, Sebastian.
Oh, Michael, there you go. Okay.
It's a couple of other people.
It's a lot of R&B artists.
Yeah,
now.
Me and BJ have worked before. I think me and Ro need to get in. Me and Luke need to get in as well. So, yeah.
And now that we're on the topic of R&B, what would you say? You know, I don't know if you heard. There's a lot of stuff on social media right now about like being the king of R&B, and you know, listen, I need your input on that because I don't even know. It's the Chris Browns. It's just like Jacquees saying he's the king of R&B. You know, a couple of other people are. What are your thoughts on that? It's going viral.
I think it's great. It brings more awareness to the genre. It's needed. Shock value is needed.
You think
know?
it's needed for every for R&B artist to claim that throne?
No,
right now,
no,
especially
no.
new R&B artists.
No, crowns are heavy to bear, and you know, to each his own. But for that to be said, there is a necessity for shock value. There is a necessity for, you know, just the moments where it's just polarizing, to say the least, because that's what's needed within this day and age. Everything is like so quick and fast. I mean, even tragedies that kind of like would devastate countries will mourn for like a day, and then like a chicken sandwich will come out and like it'll like take over. So
right. They forget all about that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we move on so fast from things that are so like monumental. I mean, like Dave Chappelle said it the best. It's the age of spin. You know, it's like watching a rocket ship blow up, and then, you know, the next day, you know, we could be talking about, you know, something as frivolous as, like I said, food.
Right. or a certain show that comes up and someone tweets about it and it goes viral, then that's the next big conversation, right?
And it's nothing wrong with the times as far as like how we're moving. I just think that within certain conversations, and as it pertains to like longevity, you know, we have to think further than like 10 minutes, you know what I mean? Like, because 10 minutes turns into 10 years, and 10 years turns into whatever we want it to turn into. So I try to think about the long game of that, and
as you should.
It's so many great legends and veterans that deserve that crown, that have the dexterity, that have the experience to carry such a heavy load.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, being at the top is a very interesting place from what I've heard.
And staying at the top, is even harder.
Yeah, from what I heard. So yeah.
Now, speaking of social media, you did a lot of covers on your page that went viral. Yeah. And are still going viral. Yeah. What made you just wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm gonna film myself singing and doing such a great job. By the way, because I was on your IG today before I got here. I'm like, every video, I'm like, wow. Thank you. So what inspired you to do these videos?
Boredom. I got tired of doing like the same, you know, stuff, as far as like music is like basically in formulas. You know what I mean? And so there's only a certain amount of formulas that's acceptable in popular culture. And there are certain formulas that are broken, that are twisted, but I mean, still rudimentarily is the same, right? So for me, I wanted to kind of break the monotony up and really kind of explore my musicianship, you know, to say, okay, well, you know, I got so many ideas that's inside of me, and there's so much that I want to say, and these chords are not going to do it. The song is not going to do it. And so for me, I wanted to kind of pay homage, and people love nostalgia. People love the 90s. Yeah, so I wanted to start there and was like, all right, cool. Let's go back and, you know, take it, you know, 2 years at a time. And you start to see different artists from that from that generation start to repost, start to reach out.
Which is crazy,
which is great. Which is great. And it lets me know that, you know, I hit a sweet spot with them because they're still able to receive their roses. They're still able to smell them and to know that they're appreciated, you know, however many years later.
Right. No, that's awesome. Congratulations on everything in your album. And what last words would you want to tell your fans right now? You're back, you're coming, your album. I mean, you never left, but you're coming out with a new album.
No, it's real. I mean, it's real. I got a new label, Art Society Music Group.
There you go.
And we have a new album that's called Audacity. We have a new single that's out called Thing Called Love, which is top 30 on Urban AC Radio right now. It's only been 3 weeks since it's been out, and thank you guys so much for supporting. Continue to support. Make sure that you hit local radio stations up. Yeah, and just
we need you back in New York.
Yes, I need to be back in New York.
We need a show in New York.
For sure, okay. I will be back. Yes.
Maybe SOBs.
SOBs.
To start.
Yes. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Don't forget to subscribe, guys. Music Exclusive TV. We'll see you guys later. Bye.